This is going to be really hard to explain, only because a lot of it probably doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to explain what happened to the best I can. And this is actually going to be a good video because I'm probably going to forget what happened, so I'll have this to listen to. So, the dream started off on this spaceship or this bunker with all these people in it, including me, and then someone who resembled my mother. Not my real life mother, but like a mother from another movie or whatever. It was just a woman, but I knew she was my mother for some. Okay, she was my mother. There's another woman, and then we were in this room with all these people, and all the people in there were women except me, and they were naked except for a bra and some underwear. Then there's a speaker that said commence phase one. And then all the women on there except my mother and I started saying they're in a trance or something, but they kept saying phase one, phase one, phase one. Like they just kept saying it to themselves in a monotone voice, and I was like, okay, that's kind of creepy. But my mother and I weren't in that trance or whatnot. And they started well the women started to look at my mom and I weird. Well, not weird, but they just kept looking at us like we weren't doing what they were doing. And then my mom and I started attacking them, and they weren't in their right mind, so they really didn't put up a fight. But then you heard this crack of electricity, and then they started kind of attacking back. And the only way for me to escape for some reason was for my mother to throw me off the ship or whatnot. So she began attacking me, and then she apologized, and then she threw me through the walls, and then it cut to some probably in the future. My father, my brother, and me in a school bus parked on a cliff, and we were just talking about what happened 10 whatever years ago, that we haven't seen my mother since because the spaceship has gone somewhere, and there's hundreds of other spaceships out there, blah 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 blah, and we wanted to get them back. And so there's these other people who have lost their family too because of the spaceship, or they lost their family, their kids, because apparently on different ships there's kids. One ship is whatever the point, they wanted to get them back. So we took a bus, and we knew where the ships were going at this time of year, because there's this big, they were going to Uranus or something. So we took this bus, we were on the highway, blah blah blah, and then for a few days, honestly. And then we saw a bunch of spaceships, and we could see Uranus on the horizon. It was a giant planet, blue planet. Then the bus started flying, like the magic school bus, and started following the spaceships. And then once we landed on one of the ships, now these are big ships, these are giant. We landed on the ship and we got out, and we could see there's a mall on this ship, a giant mall on the ship. This is enormous. And we were walking around, and we had Meyer, which is my store, as in one of the stores there, and it was a huge store. There's a lot of produce, and it was giant, because all these people that were kidnapped are on the ship living lives, and we were on there. I don't know why they didn't attack us or say who are you, blah blah blah, yada yada. Then we rode this escalator to the lunch area, or the food court or whatever, and we started eating with just people on the ship. And I recognized some of these people, celebrities. There's the lady who played Daphne in Scooby-Doo, she was there. like the live action movie. I don't know why it was her, or it could have been Elizabeth Olsen, Scarlet Witch. Anyway, I talked to her and I said she was really good in the movie she played, and she said, "Yeah, I know, blah blah blah." And then I don't know why that provoked me, but for some reason it started like this big fight. We were throwing water bottles at her, and she got like her boyfriend or husband or some male who was attacking us as well. And there was like an all out fight. And then they threw me off the platform and onto the ground, and they were laughing at me. And then I eventually took this water bottle and I had this super, super mega jump, like inhuman jump. Like it was kind of like a floating jump where I jumped and then I threw the water bottle and I slammed it in her face. Like it was like a jump, like it was like ooh, and then like it's like a super jump. And then eventually everyone was looking at me strange, like this dude has powers. And then I don't know if I was like tearing through like the ceiling. Like it wasn't like an open jump. Like there's like roof I went through, like I broke through the ceiling and stuff to make that jump. And they're like, oh my gosh. And like everyone was like panicking and whatnot. And then I started floating through flying through the ceiling to try to escape them, like escape the ship because I was embarrassed, like my secret got out or something. And then I was on a platform, and I was like, I hit a ceiling I couldn't escape through. And then they trapped me in like the cell. And like the dude behind like this whole like brainwashing situation, he's like, you have powers. That's pretty darn quaint. And he says, what else? Is there a lot more about you than what we don't know? And I says, yes, there is. And he says, this is very interesting. We're going to give you a room on the ship, and in a few days we're going to have a little like a throwing match to see who can throw or like lift the most weight, because apparently the dude behind it also had powers and he wanted to see who had more potential, whatnot. Now we didn't really get to like the throwing match in the dream or like a competition, but I was in a room and I started like a few days went by and I started feeling weird. And one day there was these worms that led into my room that like sucked my blood or bit me. And this was happening to every single person on the ship. And I was like, what is going on? In a few days, I started like doing the worm in my room, like acting really strange. And suddenly my skin was getting all slimy and stuff. And then one day, I was like eating this bowl of food on the floor. And then my body just started turning into like this worm. Like my legs merged together. My arms like went to my sides. And like my face was starting to like peel off to have like this worm-ish alien like creature that was like once me turned into myself. Like I wasn't a human anymore, blah blah blah. But I could still think. A lot of the other people on the ship like couldn't think rationally. I could still think. I have like my own human thoughts, and I tried to escape and warn my family. But then I feel as if the dream ended. So this is all I can say. And this is like the only dream that really stuck with me, and I'm glad I'm saying it because I'll probably forget it, and I'm liking this DreamLog thing. But this was my dream. Enjoy.